It's your girl Nidia Simone, founder of BLACTINAMEDIA, and I'm gonna do this once, and then I'm going to move on. But sugarcane plantations at the Super Bowl. Yeah, now that was a play. That was an interesting play. So I'm going to speak my piece about the Super Bowl one time. Yes, I'm gonna save this live. And then I'm gonna move on because I'm obviously always ahead of everything and I see the future. And I think unfortunately if we're gonna get off this ride where we stop talking about the same things over and over and over and over and over again, we need to have ownership. So I have not, right now, I don't know of any black people who own, specifically Afro-Latinos, who own record labels. So I see what the issue is. The issue is if an Afro-Latino person actually wants to have music on a larger scale, they have to collaborate with non-black Latinos. So when this collaboration happens, inspiration is taken, right? Inspiration at best. At worst, it's cultural theft. So we're talking about sugarcane. That was a crazy, guys. I didn't even watch it. I couldn't do that. Yeah, I know I was gonna watch the Super Bowl. Plantations at the Super Bowl. Where are you guys watching from? Tell me where you're watching from, and I guess we can just hold space for each other. Because I know people were really feeling vulnerable, upset about just like, well, when black people do it, it's shunned. When Afro-Latinos were to do this thing, then it's ghetto. Then it's like, why are you doing all of that? What are you doing? But when a white person does it, it's like celebrated. I get it. I know. It's the gaslighting of it all. So I want to hold space for y'all because like I couldn't even watch. But I was like, "Oh no." But you know what it is? It's an aesthetic. I was like, "Wow, like this is an aesthetic." Like to them. This is an aesthetic. Like we trying to get free and this is like choreography. Wow. And now you have a lot of African American people who are really confused about like, well, is he light skinned? Is he just light skinned? Like, that's light skinned now? Is Jake Paul light skinned? Is he just light skinned? And what did I tell you? Didn't I tell y'all that Ricky Martin was gonna be there? Didn't I tell you that he was gonna bring all the white Latinos out? Which I'm not mad at though. I wasn't mad at that. I don't have an expectation. You know, for me, I don't need more proof that white people are white. I'm not surprised when white people act white. Diva Lee says, I'm happy you've been super vocal about this for a while now. Why were they eating up Lady Doo dancing bomba? I'm so confused. Let's be real. Y'all, we don't like Gaga? Is she a Zionist? Is that why? I don't know. I'm not that, yeah, I don't be invested in these white folks. So I have to like ask people the questions. I think that, to be honest, like I think the Lady Gaga thing was the whole like white alliance. Because white Latinas definitely aren't always on the same page with WASPs. As you could see, like Kid Rock had that whole anti-Super Bowl performance. So I think that was more in connecting, especially with that relationship with Kendall Jenner. I think it's more so about like making sure that they know, hey, I'm your friend. Like let's make sure we know that this is all love between us. But yeah, see who was absent. But it's fine. I don't think we need support from white Latinas. I think we need to take care of ourselves. What are we drinking today? I'm drinking tea. This is a hyssop tea with hibiscus, cloves, and cinnamon. The jibaro, in fact, an aesthetic, the sugarcane plantation, the machete, the pava, everything in Puerto Rico, black or not, understand this. Lady Gaga, there was no melanin. That's the point. But why not Fania Stars? See, the Fania Stars, I have beef with them because of the way they like played Black Women to the Left from day one and just used, like, they literally went from Gabby. They had Gabby. You guys go to my link tree and read my article about Afro-Latina's contribution to American music. Because I go in on Fania because it's beef. It's beef. Good music. It's beef though, because like I was hoping he would have bought in Tego. Tego wants nothing to do with him because Tego is tired of being used by these white people. And I'm going to talk about that. And I think she is. Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, okay, she is a Zionist. Okay. Yes, the sky is blue. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, so now he gets to two birds with one stone because now the Zionists are going to love him. Because, wow. Look at that. Do Latinas like her? Hey, West Indian Americans. Hey, y'all. Yo, West Indian Americans, follow that page, y'all. That's a really, really good page. So, everything is a play. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is about money. The other day we had a conversation about why the issue with Bomba and the issue, not of it being commercialized, but that's what white people do to Black music. Because when Black people, when we do our thing, we're having a connection with the divine. You know, it's an experience. So when Afro-Latinos do Bomba, it's not just we're going to play this music and we're going to have this great performance and see a great show. It's like we are going to have a connection with God in this moment. You know, that's why we're playing this music. That's why we're having this experience. Gaga was there because Zionists control literally everything. I swear the show was more connected to human trafficking than people believe. Interesting. See, I don't know about that, and I feel more comfortable when I know something, so I can't confirm that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Help me, is Bad Bunny white, and that is why I'm conflicted? Probably. Because the thing is, if he was Black, y'all would not like him. If he was Black, y'all would say he was ghetto. He wore Zara head to toe. Isn't Zara like created in Spain? I missed Bad Bunny's halftime show because I was at work, and hello. Good for you. Which is a Zionist supported company. Oh, Zara. I am Black American, so can you point out some of the things that were appropriated in the show? Like, can you explain the sugarcane symbolism, for instance? The sugarcane thing, okay, first of all, I didn't watch it. I just saw clips, and when I saw that, I was disgusted and wanted to turn away. It's just like the use of like the lived experience of enslaved Africans. Oh my God. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what in the, like, I was like, the balls to do it though. Whatever he is, he doesn't use his voice for what matters. So he's a traitor. He's not a traitor. Like, why are you calling him a traitor? You acting like he was ever... Chaz, are you a Black person? Are you Afro-Latino? You like, some of y'all are acting like this person was ever in the Black community. You can't be a traitor from outside. Sugarcane wasn't appropriated as part of the DNA of Puerto Rico. Okay, whatever. Girl, get out of here. I've noticed some people say the halftime show is demonic. What do you think? I don't know what that means. I don't know that whole Christian ideology of like, you were the, I don't know. I don't know what that. No mention of Queen Celia Cruz. Let me just get into the bottom of these comments. Read the pin about sugarcane field and thank you. The Super Bowl is the highest time for human trafficking. It was cringy like enslavement in cotton or rice fields. Every year is a ritual. Okay, but the sugarcane thing was also unnecessary and kind of like romanticizing slavery and Spanish colonial rule. Let's talk a little bit about that too. Did you guys see that commercial that Bad Bunny did where he was like some Spanish prince or something like that? It's like, I'm like, bro, which one is it? Like, what is the play? Like, I'm like, what is the play here? I'm not understanding. Like, what are you trying to do? But one thing I'm going to say about him and his team is they're not dumb. I thought it was interesting. Media outlets contributed to the presence of the sugarcane fields to agricultural workers and not enslaved Africans on the island. Yeah, that it's weird to use black music to push like this. I don't even know what it is. White slaves, like, it felt like erasure to me. I posted a pic of him bigging up all the countries before. Yeah, I don't give two shits about a flag. Like, you know, that's not... Borders are fake. So that didn't do anything for me. I'm still trying to, like, say what's in my brain. Because I'm just, like... It's just, like, a lot. I'm like, I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. Because when the black community globally talks about the cotton fields and talks about the sugarcane plantations and the experience, it's like, well, slavery's over. Why are you talking about it? Slavery's over. But when a white person literally turns the Super Bowl into a sugarcane plantation, it's vibes. It's vibes. It's like, I want to cry because I feel so seen. Oh, okay, got it. Like, at the end of the day, it's about ownership. I think the problem is black people don't own our industries. We don't own ourselves. So you're forced to kind of like see whatever reflection that you can see through the lens of whiteness. And it's like, oh my God, it's like, whose idea was that? It was probably a black man's idea to begin with. And I'm really just annoyed with the non-black Latinos, like, trying to explain away and excuse all of this stuff. Like, they want to excuse all of this stuff, but apparently Loisa looks like Detroit. I was like, why don't y'all have this kind of energy for the Afro-Boricuas who are suffering right now? Where is this passion, right? If you say that everybody's the same, right? It's like the imagery of using the sugarcane cultivation and conflating that to mean heritage and community completely erased the dangerous and lethal legacy that is also has on our collective history. You guys, and for people who are confused, and they're like, oh wait, he's white, he's not black or whatever, think about it as like in the United States. In the United States, there are many races, right? So you have black people, you have white people. Are they from the same cloth? That's how you should be thinking about in Puerto Rico. Because in Puerto Rico specifically, Puerto Rico and Latin America. So, but go to my bomba when I started was like, now that I've paused the whitewashing of bomba. Because honestly, I did the damn thing. Because people... Shout out to the ancestors. Shout out to me being a vessel. Shout out to me listening when they tell me to do something. But now that we kind of have our eyes on bomba and have our eyes on like whitewashing of Afro-Boricua music and like specifically bomba, specific, just because plena right now, I'm sorry. I don't want to say plena's done, but there are groups right now in the United States like touring that have nothing to do with black people, and they don't even talk about it. They don't even discuss it. That's not even a thing. But with bomba, if somebody does a bomba class and they don't talk about the African history, somebody will ask about it. Somebody will be like, hey, wasn't this created by enslaved Africans and everything? Like, can I learn about the la? But go to that story because there's an oral history by one of the Cepedas, not William Cepeda, but there's an oral history. I'm going to read more of that oral history because he talks about the free black town that was in Puerto Rico, established in the 1600s. And enslaved people from all over would come there and be free and be safe. And bomba was super, super popular and big there. And then I don't know if you could call it gentrification, displacement. They started taking everybody out of that town, moving them to San Juan, and they couldn't practice bomba. It was illegal. They would go to jail, and then they changed the name of that town to Santurce. So what's crazy about that story, which I have to do a video about it, is Arturo Schomburg, our friend Arturo, right? When he was in 5th grade, born in Santurce. When he was in 5th grade, he asked his teacher, what are the contributions of Black people? And his teacher said, none. Black people have contributed nothing. And he was living in a formerly free Black town. The land he was living on, it was a complete lie. So in a nutshell, that's Puerto Rico, and that's the gaslighting that Afro-Puerto Ricans have to deal with every day. Okay, that makes sense. When I do, it's crying. When they do it, it's art. Creating vibes at the expense of people being exploited, that's nasty work. I love Loisa. Yes, Loisa needs love, though. Loisa needs a lot of love. But we working on that. We working on that. That was my charger. We working on it. My grandparents and great-grandparents all worked in the field sugarcane. The sugarcane was more native to the coastal areas, which are slightly higher Black populations. Always. Well, they took enslaved Africans who knew how to do the work, So it wasn't like, hey, we're going to steal you guys and put you here, do this. They literally kidnapped people from West Africa who were already doing this work, Like in the United States, the Gullah Geechee, indigenous communities. They took those people because they were excellent and experts at the rice fields. That's why they stole them. Also, the sugarcane plantation, Haiti needing to change their Olympic uniform, erasure in front of our eyes. That is something which I'm like, why are we even doing the Olympics? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Has representation has failed us? I want liberation. Aren't y'all tired of representation? They say everyone is in the same to brush away the problem within the community. They say everyone's the same. And we know everybody's not the same because we are living the effects of that. I have to light a candle right now, you guys. It's very gaslighting because it's like people out here, it's like an emergency situation. Okay, they whitewashed bomba just like they did reggaeton. Yeah, and you know what? They're going to have to pay people. Because in September they were supposed to meet. I have not heard anything about it. I hate these closed door situations. But people are getting paid. You can't continue to steal. I'm talking about the reggaeton case where there was all these reggaeton songs are literally coming from like two freaking tracks. All of the songs are coming from these 2 tracks that were stolen and have been reproduced without pay. We're not talking about 50 songs, 100 songs. We're talking about 1,600 songs. Like, we're talking about a lot of people who are millionaires off Black talent. You could say Black excellence. Everything Black people do is excellent, in my opinion. But 2 songs. Imagine those people. If people actually owned their IP. Bro, Anelito, no shade. This ain't about you. We talking about Afro-Latinos. We talking about getting free. So the excuses for Bad Bunny, they're not gonna fly here. Hello, I'm Black American, just here to learn from you and other Caribbean Afro-Latino cousins. Okay, we'll sit down, get a plate. There's no food right now. We drinking tea. Look into like my older videos and stuff. The bomba situation has been a long conversation, so take your time. And there's like, right now it's gotten smaller. There used to be more Afro-Latinos like talking about this stuff, but the internet got a little wild, and I feel like people kind of got scared because they will try to kill you. They will at least say they're gonna kill you. They'll be like, oh, we're gonna kill you. Like, so people have had, this is actually not funny, but it's just a part of the work. Like, if you're Afro-Latina, especially specifically women, they be trying to, and then you got to worry about the grape situation too. So make safety first is always safety first. But at the same time, for me, I'm like, would you gonna be quiet about it and just like die? Eventually we're all gonna die. So the sugarcane being featured is synonymous to have a portrait of your Black grandmother hidden in La Sala, much like Fortunado Vizcarrondo mentions in his famous Puerto Rican poem. Okay, so yes, that some people have that. That's not every white person in Latin America. Every white person in Latin America does not have no Black grandma. But some do. Some did. Some were like, mejor la raza, we gotta like get the Black out of our line. And I talk about that. The painting Ham's Redemption, the Brazilian Portuguese painting, which was awarded by the government that year. It was not like, seen as shameful, where you have like a Black grandmother praising God. She had a baby with a white man, so her daughter is biracial. And then the daughter marries a white man. The white man is in the picture, the daughter is in the picture. And then the grandson is fully white, and she's praising God because now the Black sin, the dirty Black stain, that Black blood is gone. Because that was the whole thing with like enslavement, was like enslavement, but also you can't have slavery without church. You can't have slavery without Jesus. Because a lot of these ideas were reinforced by the church, reinforced in the church, and the church was everywhere. The church was running everything. So you can't have it. Like that's, and most of us grew up like, worshiping Jesus, worshiping, some Christian God, some form of Christian God, right? The sugar, right? So just the African descendants cutting sugarcane props. It was also the native Tainos and poor white Spaniards. Sir, don't get kicked out the live. Don't get kicked out the live. Because this is a safe space for Black people, so you will get blocked. And like, I won't even feel bad about blocking y'all because you guys bring nothing to the Black table. All y'all do is take. You never have anything to give. All you do is take. So this is not a safe space. Just so y'all know. It's not a safe space for white people. It's not a safe space for mestizos at all. It's not a safe space for castizo. Not a safe space for criollo. However you want to freaking call yourself. Whatever word you want to call today is the word. I just say white because that's the easiest thing. Criollo, castizo, mestizo, peninsulare, whatever you want to freaking call yourself. It's not safe for you here. You will get jumped. That's why I was confused on bomba being whitewashed, because I grew up only ever hearing about enslaved Africans creating bomba as a way to communicate. Exactamente. So, a way to communicate, a way to work things through your body. Like, yeah, how did we survive? The fact that there's people that look Black in the world, like, who experience Ma'afa, because every person of African descent did not experience Ma'afa. Ma'afa is the transatlantic slave trade, so if you're Afro-Caribbean, African-American, Afro-Latino, you, the Polynesians had a different situation, but you have experienced Ma'afa, and it's a miracle that you survived. How did you survive? A lot of us survived because of these arts, cultural arts practices, food practices. I've recently been wondering what Black history looks like in Latin America. I'm not surprised, but it's still so hurtful. Afro-Rican, hear what I miss. We talking about Bad Bunny, talking about the gall of having sugarcane plantations at the Super Bowl. It's like, oh, so slavery is going to be cool when white people talk about it, right? Drop some love in the Cash App, y'all. Drop some love in the Cash App. There were Africans in the Caribbean and Americans way before slavery, FYI. We're talking about Ma'afa. I don't know, like, we're specifically talking about slave plantations. Like, I did talk about the free black town started by a woman who was never enslaved, who came to what's now known as the Dominican Republic and had a free town between 1497 and 1502, but that was in the Dominican Republic area. Haiti only sent 2 athletes representation while also resisting. Guys, we gotta let it go. I think we just gotta let all of it go, because I think the whole idea of the resistance, I don't know who that serves. It may seem silly, but a lot of people aren't sure what Afro-Latinx identity is because some mestizos have hijacked the term. Yes, West Indian Americans. Yes. Absolutely. There are people, I met a woman last summer. She's like, oh, I'm writing a book and it's going to be Afro-Latina. I was like, please don't make her mixed. Just make her Afro-Latina. And she's like, aren't you all mixed? I was like, no. Like, my family, like, I grew up thinking that Panama was like basically a bunch of dark-skinned black people who spoke Spanish. And then when I got to Panama, I was like, why? Oh, yeah, where are all these light? What is that? Like, are you sure you're Panamanian? Like, the Costa Ricans too. I didn't meet a Costa Rican that was like light until 6th grade. And I was like, you're Costa Rican? I never met a Costa Rican. I didn't meet Costa Ricans that light. Like, I was only meeting black Costa Ricans. Child, I just got in a debate with a Puerto Rican on him not being black, to which he argued all Puerto Ricans are triracial, but only chooses to carry the black label, which he is not phenotypically. And I bet he only uses that label when it's convenient. I promise you, they're only interested. Peace. Okay, peace. Solutions. Bye, everybody. I know people coming in and out. What you said about Afro-Latin music being appropriated and that taking being unrecognized. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I saw the whole before when he was like, oh, I'm not going to be performing in the contiguous, I think it's called the contiguous United States. I was like, okay, cool. And then he did Super Bowl. I was like, sir, it's giving I have a price. It's giving as if the price is right, I'll do it. Got me thinking about gaming music from Colombia getting taken for a lot of more recent tracks. I need to know if Totola Mamposina is getting her royalties. Check it. I think it's ownership enough with like, oh, I have to make sure I'm getting the money I'm supposed to be getting. You need to get the check first, but also distribution wise, like what is our distribution looking like? And stop begging these white people for their things. They don't want to work with you unless they're gonna benefit more than you benefit, and we have to get that through our thick ass heads. That's how I found your page, LO. I had to look up these talking points because I felt gaslit. Like, I know there's black Puerto Ricans, white Puerto Ricans, and indigenous Puerto Ricans. Them people dead. They done kill them. Indigenous Puerto Rican, maybe you could find indigenous blood, but you're not going to find no villages. They're done. Like, I think I heard that there's some villages in Cuba. I heard there's some stuff in Cuba. And the Cubans will tear up the Puerto Ricans for trying to claim like indigenous ancestry when they're not. And the people mostly who claim that are white. But if you're new to my page, last year I kind of like started this like, oh, we're gonna do this Afro-Boricua game plan. So now it's like an initiative, and they do want other people who are not Puerto Rican to be a part of it too. But I'm just like, that's fine, but the focus has to be on Puerto Rico because it's very easy for people to be like, oh, this is great. Can y'all come over here and do this? And then stuff gets spread too thin. Like, we got to kind of like stay focused on things. And I really want there to be Afro-Boricua initiative. What else? Afro-Cuban initiative. Afro-Panamanian. Afro-Panamanians, I feel like we got a lot of stuff going on anyway. So like our stuff, we got a museum and everything. We got a lot going on. It's just like our organization, organizing ourselves in terms of Panama. I think like it's about organizing ourselves more than getting the people together, because the people are already there. The people are already there. It's just disorganized. And if you're Panamanian, you already know what I'm talking about, because every year we have this huge parade, and it's like we got to do better with like the way we organize ourselves. But we be coming together. But the Afro-Puerto Ricans, them people traumatized, them people scared. The white people have infiltrated most of their spaces. Most of their spaces have been infiltrated. So it's never a focus on them. It's like these people are just take. There has to be a way for Afro-Latino artists to get full ownership of their musical creation so they can get royalties. If Sista Nancy can claim royalties from Boom Boom, I believe others can too. See, they can retroactively. Totally agree. But I'm talking about when making music right now. Create your own label, have your own shit, own your own stuff, so you're not trying to get a piece of this and a piece of that. She sued Adidas and won. Okay, you guys. That's great. I'm all for suing. I believe in suing. Sue everybody. Don't you think continuing to use a racist caste system that was created by white people like Spaniards is silly or irrelevant nowadays, because it seems more like a concept to maintain power? I think the system is already in use. So it's not a situation where like we shouldn't or should continue to use the system. This system is already at play. It's acknowledging this is what's happening right now. So I agree that it shouldn't be about a caste, but that's the life that we're already living in. We're already living in that. So it's silly to like ignore the reality that you live in. I mean, they talk about building the transatlantic railroad different from cash crop forced labor already. Yep. Yeah, now apparently immigrants built the U.S., not enslaved Africans. Yeah. So, hey, everybody, I'm trying to, like, do y'all even care if I wave at y'all? Or, like, are you going to be like, why you didn't wave at me? The sugarcane plantations, I think, was to shed light on the history of the enslavement of African Taino people in PR. Sorry if I'm stating the obvious. That wasn't clear with all those white people picking sugarcane. That definitely wasn't clear. And the thing is about the Tainos, they wasn't like staying enslaved. The Tainos was the main ones to like off themselves, because they were like, you're not gonna keep us slaves. Shout out to the Taino, because that's some real stuff. But like I'm like, it's the weird thing about Puerto Rico claiming this indigenous ancestry is like Taino wasn't even like the name of the people. It's the Arawak. Taino was like, there were two different, like, I'm like, it's escaping me right now, the words. I see it, but it's not coming out. But it was like your positioning. Like Taino was a position. There were different positions. So the Puerto Ricans are not even calling the people, but they were Arawak people. Yeah, but only white people can do that and people accept it. But I got through all the comments, you guys. What is the future? The future is, I don't think that it makes sense to keep on talking and responding and reacting. Because I'm like, I don't want to be reactive, especially when I already know what the play is. I think it's silly. I think it's really dumb. And we've had 500 years to understand how the white community operates. Some of us have learned a thing or two. Many of us have learned a thing or two. So let's stop acting like we don't really know what the play is. I think, we're very intelligent. Like, we need to act like we're smart instead of like feigning, I don't know what's going on. You know what's going on. Wake up. You already know. Stop acting like you're surprised, because you're not. Maybe you're disappointed. That's fair to be disappointed, but don't act like you're surprised. Because like, what am I I could be an oracle, though. I'm not the only one that peeped the game. I would like to connect you with Melanie Propa if you're not already acquainted. She's a Puerto Rican genealogist who has debunked the triracial Boricua identity. Yes, I would love to connect with her. Sure, totally open. But yeah, and the whole idea of this triracial identity is like, so is Puerto Rico the only place that has has that? Like, in the U.S., the U.S. has admixture. Like, remember that cop that ended up having to stop being a cop because he did his DNA and he had 7% sub-Saharan African DNA, and he got bullied so bad they started calling him 7%. So he had to go to another town. So is he black because he has 7% of sub-Saharan African? Am I a white woman because I have white French blood inside of me and British? Am I white now? So that's kind of how y'all sound when y'all say stuff like that. Literally just look at his presentation next to Shakira versus his own show. What is so weird that whenever people romanticize colonialism and slavery, they always do it with a European male and an African or indigenous woman? Now that we know the play, we need solutions and a game plan. Well, the first thing is ownership. The first thing I think is also like staying really focused on yourself. But the thing is, some people are mixed race, so they're going to want to include both of their ancestries, which I honestly don't have a problem with. But in terms of the black community, we need to get like hyper focused on blackness, because the black community is way too focused on everybody else. It's like you have to kind of shake people to like, hey, like, let's get focused on what does your industry look like? What does distribution look like for you? Like, what is your IP? What do you own? If you own nothing, how do you own something? So that is what I think is just holding everyone holding everybody black. When in the reality, none of these women gave consent. Exactly. LOL, it's giving one drop rule when they talk like that, referring to the triracial story stuff. Yeah, and it's crazy because there was no one drop rule in Latin America. So that's like not a thing. I'm getting so hot. Whew. Also, the wedding was weird to me. I had to take a triple look. They didn't represent me for sure. What happened with that wedding, y'all? Sorry, I am just getting so hot. What happened with that wedding? Like, I heard there was a real wedding. Like, there was like a real wedding, and it's all aesthetics. It's all aesthetics. It's smart because the man is freaking laughing to the bank. God, he's laughing to the bank. It must be nice. Must be so nice to laugh to the bank like that. But I really want to talk more about those sugarcane plantations, because it was sugarcane, it was indigo, it was coffee. The coffee plantations were huge. If we're talking about the island known as Hispaniola, Haiti, like on the western side of the island, that was majority French rule, but both sides of the island had French, English, USA plantation owners, like because Spain is kind of like lazy. That's why I don't got no money right now. What they would do was they would contract out like plantations to like Germans and to Europeans and stuff. So even if they, like in the Dominican Republic, they would have like German towns and like French towns, American plantations, USA plantations, and stuff like that. Not just Spanish plantations. It was like different types of situations. Even in Panama, like in Boca del Toro, there was a German town. Whew. The energy is high, y'all. The energy is high. Was this just a kiss, but they were mestizos, both white, and was probably just a cover for the message, love is stronger than hate. That's all, the slave owner is always telling people that they love you. That's why I'm killing you, because I love you. That's why I'm raping you, because I love you. If a Black American artist recreated people picking cotton during halftime, I think the response would have been much different. I think so too. I think that, and also, but the thing is, thank you, Steven. Steven says he loves my content. I think Afro-Latinos aren't acknowledged. Like white Latinas, mestizos don't acknowledge Black Latinos the way that in the United States, white Americans kind of like acknowledge Black Americans. Like there's an acknowledgement in a way that Afro-Latinos don't get any acknowledgement. So there's no feeling of like, oh, what are they going to say? Like nobody cares, because most Afro-Latinos don't have like the same level of ownership. They can't move through their own countries with the same confidence that like a lot of Black Americans can in the United States. So that's why I literally came across her page and I was like, oh, I like her. Thank you. The colonizers will buy out the land and they'd have native workers to boost the economy. Hypothetically, if Bad Bunny was biracial, Latino, Black parent, white parent, is he still not part of his history, ugly part? Nonetheless, would it happen, claiming equal harmful? If he was Black, he wouldn't be famous. If he was Black, nobody would care. If he was Black, he would get the Tego treatment. I think having the wedding was just to play it off the Nueva York music video. Oh, symbolic of family parties. I see. Okay. What else though? The Grammy situation. Giving like Liam the Grammy. Aesthetic, y'all. It's giving aesthetic. It's giving performance. Which of course it is a performance. I was like, I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. There would have to be any acknowledgement of Black culture as a whole. Black American is a perception of the culture in the region of America. But people have the mix of Black parents and white parents that come out looking like him. Okay. There's what do you call it? Paula Patton. She's biracial. And she, I don't know, I feel like she identifies as Black a lot. And most people would identify her as Black. But in Latin America, there's no one-drop rule. There's no, oh, because I had this Black ancestor, now I'm Black and I'm going to be passing down this Black ancestry. Like in Latin America, there is a term called mejorar la raza, which means to better the race. That means to whiten the race. That would be making the race better as if it was whiter. There's another term that like mestizos and castizos use, mantener la raza, like you have to maintain your race. So we're already white. We don't need you to be messing it up, mucking it up. Don't try to look at no Black girl. Don't, if you a white girl, don't look at that Black boy. Don't touch him. He can't touch you, because we have to maintain our race. So there's no like one drop rule, like, oh, like this makes you like, in the United States, there was a congressman, you guys know, Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was damn near a white man. The only thing, like, if you looked at him, you were like, is he not Italian? But then he opened his mouth and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a Negro. That's a Negro. And his politic was Black. His focus was the Black community. We could talk about other stuff. He was still a man. But he was for the black community, even though he looked very, very light bright. If he was in Latin America, I feel like that he would be a whole white man. Like, so, and speaking as a black American, even that is an issue. The one drop rule is racist, and personally, I would not consider Paula Patton black because she does not look African. She is biracial. Indeed, and she be taking all the roles. She be getting all the roles. Y'all remember that movie when she did with the like flight, like she was looking for love, and I was like, Jill Scott should have been her role, and she should have been the friend, because Jill Scott would have, no shade, Paula, because you know she works really hard on her stuff, but Jilly from Philly should have been the one that was the star of that movie. Yeah, the one drop rule also was not to like identify black people. It was to make sure that black men weren't inheriting property. And I feel like that gets lost a lot. Black Americans suffer erasure with the one drop rule too, because that's then used against us to many put on black Americans who do not, look like the typical African American with black features. Yep. Especially in like those higher echelon roles. I'm like, okay, wait, where are the black people? This is supposed to be the African American studies. Like, we're at the Getty and this is the black department. Where are the Africans? Where are the African Americans who look African? Yeah. Not talking about the one drop rule, just saying if you got a black parent and not come out looking phenotypically. Well, sure. But this is like, I feel like you're doing like whataboutism. And we're talking about erasure. And like, that's kind of like what we're talking about. I don't know what your race is specifically, but that's kind of the issue that we as Afro-Latinos have with non-black Latinos, with erasing us, like literally erasing our being. Because y'all always like, well, what about this? And what about Fat Joe? And what about the black people? What about the black people who are trying to exist? What about us? Like, and where is that energy to the white community that's erasing us? Why don't y'all go in and do that to the white people? Why y'all gotta come to our spaces with the whataboutism? Why do you have to come here and do that? Why can't you want to create the unity? Why don't you talk to the white people and have them stop killing us, stealing our lands, appropriating our culture, stealing our royalties? What about that? Hollywood wasn't going to allow that, though. I can totally see Jill as the lead. Jilly. Oh my God, I love Jill Scott. She's a phenomenal actress. Like, phenomenal actress. I had someone from Spain tell me that Spain treated Indigenous American and African folks well, and once I disagreed, they said I was stupid because I'm young. The thing is, some people, they will say, which legacy museum, which state is that in? I'm not sure. The thing about, like, remember the story that I just did talking about the first free black town? And like how in 1503 the Spanish crown was like, no, the governor was like, I don't know if we should do slavery anymore because they keep running away. And like this idea, like there was almost this like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. Like the transatlantic slave trade could have like stopped in 1503, which is like insane. But I'm saying that to say that the enslaved people that were brought to what is now known as the Dominican Republic were coming from Spain and were already kind of like socialized within the Spanish culture system. They were called Latino. Let me see, Latino, Latnos. I don't know why. I always want to say, when I see that, I always want to say Latinos, but it's Ladinos. Well, they're not. They're these are black people, but they were calling them Latinos. But the first enslaved people who were coming to the first chattel, they were already like involved with the Spanish culture. So they weren't like straight off the boat. If that makes sense. That's actually too confusing. I'm upset I brought it up. I'm going to talk about it later, and like, cuz it's a little complex, but I'm saying that because like that's why people were saying, "Oh, it was better," because of the nuance of maybe what it was. Because when enslavement first started, I'm talking about chattel slavery, they didn't have black codes. So later they started to have ordinances that said, okay, if a black person is a slave, then this is how they're supposed to be treated. This is going to be the paperwork they need to have. We need to register people, so that's why sometimes they're like, oh, it was different. It's like, well, it depends on the time. And yeah, it gets complex. It's all complex. Heard you about whatism, but I feel like the point is being missed. Just confused whether or not we're allowed to talk about history that pertains to us as well, speaking in good faith. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like I've said everything I need to say about that. Friendly reminder that we shouldn't use American tools of racism to contextualize issues in race in Latin America to the audience, not the host. Honestly, Dark Lord, Jorge, I see what you're saying, and sure, but we have to remember all of it, especially talking about Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico is in the U.S. So Puerto Rico has never been like removed from that. At least like when Spain like gave Puerto Rico to the U.S., like it's been a long time. And the clan organized in Puerto Rico, was living in Puerto Rico. Like, so it's like, how can you say the only thing that is like the one drop rule never like got, I guess, to Puerto Rico? They were like, no. But like Pedro Albuso Campos, like he was like, I didn't know I was black until I got drafted, and then I was with the Negroes. They started treating me like a black person. I realized I was black. So, I feel like he was directly influenced by United States Jim Crow laws and the racial caste system in the United States specifically. So I see what you're saying, but I also feel like that whole that comment, not when you're saying that, when people are like, oh, from American point of view, they're just trying to shut down the conversation. But Pedro is like a perfect example of somebody who like had to like acknowledge that racial caste system in the United States, had to experience it, went to Harvard. Like he had to deal with that. He understood the differences, which is why they kill him. This is why they kill him. And that's the thing, is that's why people like us who understand all of it, we have to be very careful about our safety, because we understand everything. We're not just like in this little corner, look, no, we're like, oh, it's like that over there, it's like that over there, it's like da, 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 da. Like we be seeing everything. So like our safety, we have to be very careful, because we have perspective. Gotta run, but keep up the good work, and I'm going to DM you about a project that I would like to collaborate with you on. It's complex. Also, if y'all want to collaborate, y'all need to come with some money. Like, I can't afford to work for free no more. I did it too many years, and I can't afford it anymore. It's complex, but sometimes I feel like it's common sense that comes with learning true history. I don't know. Common sense not so common, and then it's like, you got to remember, this is strategy, war strategy, and some of indigenous strategy, African strategy, has been used against us. So that's also been stolen. It's not just like the people, the things, it's also the intelligence. So a lot of the military that's used in the U.S. comes from Haiti. Yeah, see, yeah. I didn't want to go there, but like that's the reality. They stole Haitian military strategy. So that's why you got to be careful. All skinfolk and kinfolk. A lot of white Puerto Ricans that claim African might have from North Africa when the Reconquista happened and they all pushed out Arabs, but many were never black per se, more so. Right, because like during the Haitian Revolution, a lot of the French and Spanish slave owners came to Puerto Rico, brought their enslaved peoples, and they never mixed with nobody. Because like, why would a slave owner mix with a slave? And if they like graped their property, they were automatically born into slavery. So I'm like, are y'all not reading your own history books? Like, I'm like, are the history books not, what's going on in Puerto Rico? Like, or people are just not reading it, or are people being brainwashed, or people being fed lies? Because I know in first grade is when Puerto Ricans start learning English. Like, English is introduced into the school system. But I don't know what's going on with the school systems. And I know a lot of the school systems have been closed because the debt crisis. During the debt crisis, so many schools were closed. The U.S. and Canada framed the perception of almost, if not all Latin countries, first world countries, own the economy. But they also own the economy. Oh, Pedro Albizu Campos. We'll just say Pedro Albizu. Let's see if you know it. Yeah. Was he the first Puerto Rican to go to Harvard, y'all? I think we just need to stop putting energy into it. If you literally starve it, like, because I'm trying to think of like, okay, because as a writer, like I wrote this article. It was actually commissioned by a Latino, like, online newspaper stuff. Getting hot again. So, but I was commissioned to talk about the whole, Sydney Sweeney race thing. And of course I was like, I'm not impressed by this K-pop group, because like they be stealing from the African American community. It's really just R&B, stolen R&B. And I talked about it, but I felt like there were so many things that needed to be acknowledged for me to, because they were like, talk about the race thing and how, and the gene thing, right? And how, and related to Latinidad. So I was like, okay, that's a lot. Because you have to talk about like genes were started by enslaved African Americans in the United States, right? But now the genes are made by majority Afro-Latino and indigenous people in Latin America. Like, so I put a bunch of like citations and they were like, this reads like a research paper. Latinos are not going to want to read that. And I also feel like a lot of Latino publications are not pushing the audience. It's like, you want people to be dumb because it's easy money for you. Like, and I'm really disappointed in that, because I'm just like, okay, well, that's acting like you're, Spanish ancestors. Like, because why do you want these people to be dumb? Why do you want them to act like that? They should know, and they should look into it, and they should be interested in learning. Like, they should be interested in education. Like, this is important. I have Jamaican money with the Queen of England on it. Yep. Aren't they supposed to be paying reparations to Jamaica by now? Like, that's another thing. Spain owes Jamaica reparations too. All right, guys. I'm Dominican, living in the DR. I've stopped even trying. It's exhausting. What do you mean? Okay, I'm going to wrap this up in 5 minutes because I'm tired and I have emails and I have work to do. Life is lifing right now, so gotta get to work. But this is a good conversation. And guys, drop some love in that Cash App if you learned something. And I've been dropping a lot of, the doctrine of discovery and 1492. And the crazy thing about Columbus, he did not come alone. There's this guy named Juan Moreno who was with him, later known as Juan Portuguese, in a different area. It's like, he was a black guy, yeah. It's like, I'm just tired of it. I'm just like over it. I'm over like acting like white people invented anything. Like I'm just tired. The public school system and PR is trash. You're lucky if you happen to get a good history teacher, but many are pro-statehood and assimilate, so they don't teach real history. I learned more in public university. Well, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. The thing about being pro-statehood is like, it could all work. It could all work, you know. But I'm like, if you're pro-statehood, you're not allowed to like learn about Puerto Rican history. Like, you're not allowed to learn about what is it, San Mateo de Cangreo, the free black town. You're not allowed to learn about maroon towns. How is that not colonization? How is that not modern slavery? Modern colonization. Not modern slavery, I guess, because if you're not, I feel like if you're not property, that's the difference. But yeah, guys, we were talking about the sugarcane plantations at the Super Bowl being gaslit, Afrolatino erasure, and also, I don't think I'm ever going to talk about this again. Like, thanks to you guys for, like, bringing up a lot of stuff that I will be mentioning in the future. I want to do more YouTube videos. I was not able to keep up with my school. Couldn't do it. So, I have to, like, take my time to, like, navigate these things and stuff. So, yeah. But this was fun. This was fun, and I'm saving this live. You guys can check it out, and I will see you out on the flip side.